Wait a minute. Who's gonna fly the buzzard? We don't know anything about flying.
Neither did the Wright brothers, but they flew. Anything the Wright brothers can do, the Wrong brothers can do. Right?
Right. Wrong.
Everyone knows the Three Stooges for their funny jokes, silly conflicts, and crazy stunts. People laughed for years at Moe, Larry, and Curly. But before Moe Howard passed on, he finally shared the truth about what really happened when the cameras were off. It turns out, their life wasn't as funny as it looked. There were conflicts, sadness, and things fans never knew. Moe had stayed quiet for a long time to protect the group's image. But this time, he wanted people to hear what really happened behind the scenes. What he said surprised many. The truth was shocking, and it showed that the world of the Three Stooges was not just about laughter, it was full of pain too. Before the end of Moe Howard's life, something changed. When people think of Moe Howard, they picture the loud, bossy stooge always ready to slap someone silly. But that wasn't who he truly was. Off camera, Moe was nothing like the wild character he played. He was quiet, gentle, and deeply thoughtful. He wasn't trying to be the center of attention in real life, he just wanted to keep the team together. In fact, Moe was more like a big brother to everyone, not just on screen but behind the scenes too. He was the glue that kept the Three Stooges from falling apart during tough times. He handled the business calls, read scripts, and even tried to help the others with their personal problems. Fans would have been shocked to see how calm and serious he was in real life. There were no slaps or eye pokes when the cameras stopped rolling. Instead, Moe would quietly go over lines, look after his brothers, and make sure everyone got home okay. He once said that being Moe the Stooge was like wearing a mask, and when the mask came off, he was just a man trying to do his best. That kind of honesty is what made Moe so special. Even when he played the tough guy, you could see the care in his eyes. He didn't laugh the loudest, but he made sure the laughs happened. And when the laughs were gone, he carried the pain in silence. That's the side of Moe people didn't get to see, but it's the one that mattered the most. As time went on, Moe kept quiet about a lot of things during his career. He didn't want to ruin the magic of the Three Stooges. But as he got older, he began to talk about what really went on. In his final years, he finally told the world about the heartbreak, the hard work, and the quiet battles behind the laughter. He shared stories about working long hours, doing dangerous stunts without safety, and being paid far less than they deserved. He spoke of Curly's health troubles, Larry's emotional breakdowns, and how he tried to hold everything together with nothing but hope. One story he told again and again was about how they had to keep filming even after Curly had his first stroke. Moe begged the studio to give Curly time to rest, but they refused. It was always about money to them, Moe said. But to me, it was about my brother. Those late-life interviews showed just how deep Moe's love ran for his team, for his family, and for the fans. He didn't want pity. He wanted the truth to be known. And in doing that, he gave fans something more valuable than laughter, he gave them honesty. For years, fans had asked the same question: what happened to Curly? Why did he disappear so suddenly from the comedy group when they were more famous than ever? There had always been whispers, as some blamed illness, others blamed drinking, but the full truth stayed hidden. The Three Stooges were more than just a popular comedy trio. They became a cultural phenomenon, shaping how slapstick comedy was seen for decades. Their jokes, wild movements, and crazy expressions became unforgettable. At the heart of their success were Moe Howard, Larry Fine, and the most surprising of the group, Curly Howard, born Jerome Lester Horwitz. While Moe played the rough leader with his bowl haircut and Larry acted as the confused middleman, it was Curly who brought something magical to the act. But what most people never knew was how much Curly was struggling behind the scenes, and only Moe truly saw it all. Curly didn't start as the obvious choice. Back then, when Moe's older brother left the group to pursue solo work, Moe and Larry needed someone new. Curly, Moe's younger brother, wanted the spot, but no one thought he was a fit. He was quiet, looked too gentle, and had no training in performance. His calm voice and round face didn't seem like the kind that could light up a stage. Still, Curly wanted it badly. He shaved off his thick hair and trimmed his mustache to create a more comic look. His new appearance, combined with a deep desire to prove himself, landed him the role. The moment he stepped in front of the camera, something unexpected happened. His timing, sounds, and funny looks came naturally. He didn't plan his routines, he just did them. The barking, spinning, and noises weren't written in a script, they just flowed out of him. Directors quickly learned that Curly worked best when left alone. All he had to do was just to let the camera roll and let him be himself. It worked like magic every time. While fans saw a happy, funny man on screen, Moe saw another side when the lights turned off. Off camera, Curly was soft-spoken and often nervous. He disliked public events and avoided interviews. He would quietly leave once filming ended, choosing to spend time alone. Though kind and generous to those around him, he had difficulty with close relationships. He went through several failed marriages and seemed unsure of what he really wanted outside of performing. Along with the fame came intense pressure. Studios demanded constant filming of short comedy episodes, which required hours of physical work. Although he never said it out loud, Moe could tell that the job was wearing him down. Curly would forget a line here and there. Sometimes, he reacts too slowly, but Moe saw that Curly's energy was fading. He was gaining weight and seemed tired more often than not. Even with the crowds cheering and the crew laughing, Moe could tell his brother's spark wasn't as bright as before. Some days, Curly would seem lost, walking off set like he had forgotten what they were doing. He would miss his marks or freeze for a moment before snapping back. Moe didn't want to believe something was wrong, but deep down, he knew this wasn't just stress. Still, they had work to do, and Curly kept showing up. Moe at some point had to adjust scenes and gave Curly time to rest between takes, and covered for his brother when he could. But it wasn't enough. Curly's health was slipping, and everyone around him started to notice, even if they didn't understand the full picture. As time went on into the 40s, the signs became impossible to hide. Curly, though still young in years, looked and moved like a much older man. He developed high blood pressure, and his weight kept going up. During filming, he would sweat heavily, even during simple scenes, and had to sit down after every take. Moe later shared that during filming breaks, Curly displayed lots of strange attitudes. At this point, Moe had watched his brother change from a bright performer into someone who could barely stay present. Things only got worse as Curly could no longer perform the physical bits that once came so easily. The crew had to guide him carefully through scenes, helping him stay balanced and remember lines. Moe said that despite everything, Curly still felt responsible to entertain people, to support Moe and Larry, and to live up to what the studio expected of him. This brings us to some of the other details Moe shared. They didn't make much money. It's hard to believe, but the Three Stooges weren't rich. For all the laughs they gave the world, the paychecks they took home were shockingly small. Moe talked openly about how unfair it all was. While their short films packed theaters and brought in loads of money for Columbia Pictures, the Stooges were stuck on fixed salaries. No bonuses. No profit sharing. Just a flat fee, no matter how big the audience was. The studio had total control. Moe, Larry, and Curly couldn't walk away or ask for more money without risking their jobs. They were under contract, and the bosses used that to keep them quiet. "We were just employees to them," Moe once said. "Not stars. Not people. Just tools to make money." And make money, they did, just not for themselves. Moe remembered how they had to keep working nonstop just to pay the bills. No big mansions. No fancy cars. Just a lot of hard work and aching bones. It's easy to look back and think of them as legends, but in their own time, they were overworked and underpaid. Moe said he stayed up late many nights wondering how they'd make it through another year. "We were famous, sure," he said, "but fame doesn't pay the rent." Moe never held back when talking about the studio. He was clear about how Columbia Pictures treated them like replaceable clowns. When their films did well, the bosses took all the credit. When they struggled, the studio blamed the Stooges. It didn't matter that fans loved them. The only thing the studio cared about was the bottom line. The worst part? The Stooges had no rights to their own work. They didn't own the shorts. They didn't get a cut from television reruns. So while a new generation of fans laughed at Curly's silly faces and Moe's tough guy slaps, the Stooges got nothing. "We made those pictures," Moe said. "But we didn't own a single frame." It was heartbreaking. Moe remembered watching old clips on TV, knowing that other people were getting rich off their work while he and Larry were barely getting by. By the time they gained some recognition, it was too late. Curly was gone. Shemp was gone. And Moe was tired. Still, he never stopped pushing. He gave interviews, wrote letters, and spoke out about the way comedy teams like his were treated. "If you love what we did," he told fans, "remember we paid the price for it." And that's a truth that cuts deep. Aside from all of what went on with his brother's health and the studio, Moe was more than just a performer. Moe was a protector. Behind the scenes, he became the father figure of the group. While the world saw him as the bossy one, the truth was, Moe carried the emotional weight of the team. Curly, his younger brother, was a firecracker on stage but struggled in private. He drank too much, ate poorly, and partied hard. Moe often tried to help him calm down, to rest, to see a doctor. He had the gift, Moe said, but he didn't take care of himself. Moe watched helplessly as Curly's health fell apart. Curly's health struggles and the tough guy in the middle. Behind the scenes, Moe was growing more worried each day. Curly's health wasn't just bad, it was getting dangerous. He had started showing signs of having small strokes, though no one fully understood what was happening at the time. Moe later said that the changes in Curly's memory, focus, and movement all pointed to something far more serious. He described Curly not just as the funny guy on screen, but as someone with a deep soul. People think Curly was just for laughing and nonsense, Moe once said in a quiet interview near the end of his life. But he had feelings. He got hurt easily. He cared more than anyone knew. Moe went on to explain how the long hours and non-stop pressure from the studio pushed Curly to his limits. Behind the funny face was a man struggling to keep up. The physical comedy that made people laugh so hard actually caused real pain. Curly started to suffer, not just physically but emotionally too. That's when he began drinking more. Moe saw it happen but didn't know how to stop it. That decision haunted Moe. He felt like he had let Curly down. He kept working, kept acting, but something inside him never healed. I saw the light go out in my brother's eyes, he said quietly, holding back tears. And I couldn't bring it back. By early 40s, his condition had moved past worrying. He was 42 but looked and moved like a man twice his age. His speech was slurred. He could barely keep up with the physical comedy. Sometimes, it looked like he didn't even know where he was. The energy that once made him the star of the show was barely hanging on. Then came May 6, 1946, while the Stooges were filming Half-Wit's Holiday, a routine comedy short like many they'd done before. This one ended with silence. Curly collapsed. Right there on set, in the middle of a scene, he went down. A massive stroke hit him without warning. Everyone froze. Moe was there. In later interviews, he described that day as the moment the real Curly disappeared, not physically, but spiritually. The man who lit up every frame, the one who made people laugh just by walking into a room, that man was gone in seconds, Moe said. The stroke damaged Curly's brain badly. He couldn't speak right. His balance was gone. His face sagged on one side. He could no longer control his emotions, often crying or laughing without reason. And the worst part? He knew it. He knew what he had lost. For a man who made his name with wild movements, quick thinking, and unpredictable antics, this stroke was a cruel end. He could barely walk and performing was now impossible. His career, his very identity, was finished in a flash. Moe was shattered. He wasn't just losing a comedy partner. He was losing his little brother. But the show didn't stop. It couldn't. Columbia brought back Shemp Howard, Moe, and Curly's older brother, who had originally left the Stooges in the 30s. Shemp was funny in his own way, more talkative, more nervous, but he wasn't Curly. The energy changed. The chemistry was different. Fans could feel it. Meanwhile, it wasn't just Curly who got faced with health struggles. Larry Fine had his own struggles too. He was funny and sweet but deeply emotional. After a stroke in the 70s, Larry couldn't even hold a fork. Moe, already getting older himself, still showed up to help. He brought food, read stories, and even helped him bathe. Moe didn't do these things for praise. He did them because he loved them. They weren't just co-stars, he said. They were my brothers. That kind of loyalty is rare. And it's why, even after all the laughs faded, Moe's story still hits the heart. He was more than the tough guy in the middle. He was the heart of it all, even when things got worse. Let's take a look at what occurred afterwards. After the stroke in the spring of 1946, Curly Howard vanished from the public eye. Fans thought he had simply taken a break. They believed he was healing, maybe planning a quiet return to the Three Stooges. But what really happened was much more heartbreaking. Behind closed doors, the man who had made millions laugh was falling apart in silence. He wasn't resting. He was slipping. That stroke had done more than damage his body. In the months that followed, Curly struggled to understand what had happened. He didn't believe his time with the Stooges was really over. Over and over, he asked his brother Moe when he could come back to work. He thought it was just a break, Moe said years later. But we knew he wasn't coming back. As time passed, Curly's mental health began to decline. His emotions became unpredictable. Sometimes, he would burst into tears. Other times, he'd seem angry or scared for no reason. He grew suspicious of those around him, even close friends and relatives. He wasn't himself anymore. Curly also stopped taking care of his health. His weight went up quickly. He didn't seem to care about food, clothes, or even getting out of bed. The bright, playful man fans adored was being replaced by someone sad, distant, and confused. At home, things weren't any easier. Curly had married 4 times in his life. Each marriage ended for different reasons, but Moe believed Curly's emotional struggles played a big role in all of them. He had trouble staying steady. One moment, he was kind and gentle like a child. Next, he might become confused or upset without warning. Eventually, his condition got so serious and Curly was placed in care facilities, including mental institutions. Back then, treatments were limited. In the 1940s and early 50s, medications for mental health were not what they are today. By the time the early 1950s arrived, Curly had suffered several more strokes. He'd smile when I came in, Moe remembered. Even if he didn't say a word, I knew he knew me. It was like watching someone disappear while they were still breathing. Moe described it as mourning his brother while he was still alive. But as hard as it was, Moe was going to say the final goodbye to him. He was moved from one hospital to another. Sometimes, he was sent to care homes. Other times, to mental institutions. Reports said his emotional state became unstable. He would forget names, forget where he was, or burst out laughing for no reason at all. He was no longer the man who once commanded every stage he walked on. Still, there was a bit of the old Curly left. In 1949, he made a tiny cameo in the Stooges' short Malice in the Palace. He had no lines. Just a brief appearance. But fans noticed. Something was off. The man in front of them was no longer the comedian they remembered. He looked like a shadow of himself. Tired. Faded. Broken. I should have pulled him out, Moe said in one of his final interviews. I should have made them see. Curly's fall wasn't just a tragedy. It was a warning. And they missed it. They pushed forward, thinking the next laugh would make it better. But behind the curtain, a man was dying, slowly, silently, while the world laughed. Moe never stopped blaming himself. He lived with the guilt of watching it all happen and not being able to stop it. The strokes didn't just end Curly's career. They ended a part of Moe too. And though the Stooges kept going, the heart of the trio had long left the stage. This time, he had to say a final goodbye. Moe Howard never got over the last time he saw Curly alive. By then, Curly's body was weak and thin. The energy that once made him the life of the Three Stooges was gone. He didn't speak. His eyes looked past everything, like the world no longer made sense to him. But even in that silence, something powerful happened. He grabbed my hand and held it tight, Moe later said. Curly didn't say a word, but Moe felt it. His little brother knew this was goodbye. That final visit crushed Moe. He stepped out of the hospital room and broke down. He cried like he hadn't cried in years. So much was left unsaid. So many regrets he couldn't shake. Just a few days later, on January 18, 1952, Curly passed away. He was only 48. Fans were shocked. Most had no idea Curly had been sick for so long. The studios had kept it quiet. Moe, too, had stayed silent for years. But behind the jokes and the Stooges skits, Moe carried a sorrow that never left him. He kept performing. The show went on, but inside, he was still grieving. He didn't want pity. That wasn't Moe. What he wanted was for fans to stop thinking the Stooges were always laughing in real life just because they made others laugh on screen. Moe said it best when he told a friend, "People think we were rolling in money and having fun all the time. But they don't know what we went through behind that curtain." Fans saw the final product, slaps, silly noises, and wild chases. What they didn't see was Moe struggling with the studio to keep the group together, or working long hours for little pay. Most of all, they didn't see the heartbreak when Curly had his stroke or when Larry could barely talk after his own. They didn't see Moe writing letters to fans while holding back tears. During one of his final interviews, Moe looked the camera in the eye and said, "We worked hard. Not just for money but because we knew people needed to laugh. That was the only thing that kept us going sometimes." It wasn't a line. It wasn't for show. It came from deep inside the man who carried the weight of the entire act on his shoulders. He didn't want people to remember just the performances. Moe hoped they'd remember the hearts behind the chaos. Curly's innocence. Larry's spirit. Shemp's bravery. Even Joe Besser and Curly Joe DeRita, the later Stooges, brought their own pain and dreams into the mix. Moe respected every one of them, even when things got tough. There's one story Moe shared that really stuck. He once saw a little boy in the hospital, dying of cancer. The boy's parents told Moe that the only time their son laughed was when he watched the Three Stooges. Moe sent the kid a letter, a photo, and a joke. A week later, the child passed away, but his parents said he died smiling. That was what Moe held on to. Not fame. Not money. Just that one smile. Just one life made a little brighter. So when Moe said, "I just want them to know we were real," he meant every word. The Stooges weren't just a comedy act. They were human beings with worries, tears, and endless love for their audience. By the early 1970s, Moe Howard had seen it all. He had buried two of his brothers. Larry was sick. The comedy world had changed. The slapstick that once filled theaters was now seen as old-fashioned. Still, Moe kept going. He gave interviews, signed autographs, and even wrote his memoirs. But more than anything, he was trying to make peace with the past. He lived long enough to see a wave of new fans. College students in the 70s began rediscovering the Three Stooges, playing their short films on campus, laughing like it was the first time anyone had ever seen a pie thrown in a man's face. Moe was touched. It was like the world had finally come back around. But he was also tired. His eyes looked older. His voice was softer. He spoke slower, often pausing to remember names, places, and the years that had rushed by. You could see in his face that he missed them so much: Curly's laugh, Larry's smile, the way they all once danced across the stage with nothing but joy. In 1974, Moe published his autobiography. It was called Moe Howard and the Three Stooges. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't dramatic. It was honest, just like him. In those pages, Moe poured out memories he had carried for decades. He talked about the conflicts, the poverty, the tours, and the quiet moments that never made it to film. It wasn't about revenge or blame. It was about setting things right. Friends who visited him near the end said he was at peace. He still joked when he could, though more gently than before. He'd say things like, "I've poked more eyes than a doctor," and then smile softly. But his mind often drifted to Curly. "He should have had more time," Moe once whispered. That line was simple, but it came from deep pain. When Moe passed away on May 4, 1975, it felt like the end of an era. But it wasn't a lonely ending. He had lived a full life. He had seen the world change, seen laughter come and go, and in the end, saw it return again. He may have left the stage, but Moe didn't leave without saying goodbye the right way. He told the truth. He honored his brothers. And most of all, he let the world see the man behind the act. No more pokes. No more slaps. Just quiet peace and a legacy that still makes people laugh today. He was 77 and had been battling lung cancer. For years, he had smoked heavily, and it caught up with him. He had been admitted to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center just days earlier. His wife, Helen, passed away just months later. They were buried next to each other in Culver City. Even after his passing, Moe's legacy didn't fade. In August of 1983, the Three Stooges received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Fans still watched the old black and white clips, laughing at every slap, poke, and pie to the face. But few knew what those scenes had cost the men behind them. Moe was played by actor Paul Ben Victor in a made-for-TV movie about the Stooges in the year 2000. The film showed their rise in show business and what their lives were like away from the spotlight. In the 2012 comedy remake, Moe was portrayed again, this time by actor Chris Diamantopoulos, while a young version of him was played by Skylar Gisondo. But the real story, the one Moe finally shared in his last days, wasn't about fame or funny clips. It was about family. About pain. About the cost of making people laugh when you're quietly falling apart. And once Moe shared that truth, the Three Stooges weren't just comedians anymore. They were human beings who gave everything for their art, even when it hurt. Before his passing, he warned young actors about giving too much of themselves for fame. He admitted they had ignored the signs. Hollywood, he said, could break people. And Curly was proof. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe and also click the next video shown on your screen.